everybody. This is Bart Sharp, and you are on Becoming Quantum Conscious on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, Louisiana on 107.7 and 103.5. Also on the UPR website, X, cable television, Roku, Facebook, YouTube, Spreaker, and other internet platforms all around the world. It's really fun to have a radio show on the worldwide and be worldwide, as I have returned to lovely France to do one more spiritual tour for the fall. And, it's living the wild, wild life. And we are at LeConte's Hotel in the middle of the Pyrenees, up in the mountains. So we got the jacket on, and it's always so unpredictable up here in the Montsegur area. It's where magic meets normal and normal meets magic. And there's certain unpredictable histories here. Spirit runs high. And I'm waiting for Aletheia Sophia to come in, and that's where she's going to be, at this pink pillow here. That's why I'm sitting at the side. Like I said, this is an unpredictable place, and you never know what's going to happen. And particularly if you're running a hotel of magnitude as this is. It's really kind of the opposite of The Shining, I think, because of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, that movie. It's, there's no ghosts walking around that I know. I'm going to spend the first night here that I've ever spent, so maybe I'll find out, but I don't sense any ghosts. It feels more like a happy, peaceful, fairy-like place with a lot of goats roaming around and such as that. And so much about this area of the Pyrenees has a totally different reality in it. Maybe it's in the mineral walks. Maybe it's in the ley lines. Maybe it's just in the crystals in the ground. Maybe it's in the water. But it's such a magical place that maybe other humans did a long time ago. Some people say, no, it's the minerals. Maybe it's the chemical composition in the land itself that make things turn on, be active. Maybe it's the ley lines, because we are really close to Chateau de Montsegur, which is one of the major power spots in the area. We don't have very many good answers, but what stories and legends tell us is that there are goddesses in this land, and the white goddess in particular is something that has appeared here. Some people say, no, that's Mother Mary, and she has appeared. And we have witnesses and stories and legends, and even King Charlemagne had a Mother Mary experience, and he basically told him to settle down and stop making so many wars and treat the people better, and that he did. He became a very revolutionary king. All in his claim, Mother Mary paid him a little visitation. And there's a church called Notre Dame sur Barts. Wasn't named after me. It's Sabarts. And this is in the town in the Pyrenees called Tarascon-sur-Arge. And she appeared. But Mother Mary has appeared in places, blessed the water, but also the mysterious white goddess has appeared in very many mysterious places. And there's legends. In fact, we've known people that have witnessed this, of a woman appearing white, coming out of nowhere. not much to say to them, but just blessing them with the experience. I'm still waiting for it myself, and just wondering when that experience is going to happen. Um, it's quite a phenomenon, and even to the point that around the area of Rennes Chateau, there is a high incidence in one cow field of the white goddess. Some people say, no, it's Mother Mary. Some people say, no, it's more like an elf spirit. I haven't seen this magnificent lady, but I hear of a woman that is pure white walking in the fields at night. And when you go to this particular cow field, or even get close to it, and it's odd because the cow field has a road running right beside it. So you can literally park your car by the field, get out, and walk down the road, and you can feel this one spot that's very incredibly light. And then there's another spot on the other side of the field that's not quite as light, but it's still really strong and powerful. So those are there. And one time I got to go onto the field because the husband of the farm uh, let us in. Of course, I was accompanied by uh, Angelique Pigenet, who is going to be on the show later on this month. It's actually, who's way too charming for any man. And she convinced the farmer to let us to go on there. And true enough, this place feels phenomenal. You can feel this feminine spirit that's there, that's literally coming out of the ground. Almost like you can sense the white light coming out of the ground itself. And so maybe from time to time, enough energy is built up there. So it does happen. Lots of stories, lots of legends. And now every time I go there, I'm by myself and not with Angelique. And I meet the wife of the farmer. She doesn't really want me on the land. I'm just a strange American that doesn't speak French well. So she really doesn't trust my intentions. I mean, what am I going to do? Go chase her cows around or something? I don't know. But I had my one shot. I was there. I experienced it. It was wonderful. And there we have it. Maybe that wonderful goddess experience is going to come, in which our goddess will be likely coming through that door behind us as you see the green and that door opening. Maybe she'll be dressed in white. Maybe she'll be all reflected in white. Aletheia Sophia is full of surprises. If you can imagine her and her husband looking for a place to manage, and they found a slice of paradise really close to Montségur in the mountains, rushing streams of water going by, lots of forest, and it was like, hey, let's build a hotel. Hey, let's make a life happen here in this place that just turns us on, just makes us feel more magical. That's what it's all about. So we are always saluting her, or I am, by bringing tours here for lunch, as they have a wonderful vegan menu, and having Aletheia tell stories. And that's what we're going to hear tonight, is a story. And there's something so magical about this place, and that it's unpredictable. And we have Phyllis. Hi. Hi, Phyllis. She says, hello, Bart, Aletheia, sending you love. And those precious goats. Phyllis came on the tour this summer. And yes, there's 30 goats here. They started a goat colony. They brought in goats that were stranded, sickly, did not have a home. What would you call them? Orphan goats. And brought them in as a home. And they have grown. They have populated. They're kind of everywhere. And that's what you do when you have leisure time here at LeConte is walk the goats out in the forest. Of course, the goats aren't something like they herd around, but you just kind of let them wander. And they have these paths and they mope about eating grass while the humans kind of mope about and be in this state of real slowness. Yeah. So you never know what's going to be happening in France. And it's always full of surprises with everything that we do. And I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. I'm in the second story where there's only one room with internet. And maybe this will be Aletheia. And guests are coming in. This is going to be truly a live broadcast from what I understand. And people are coming and sitting down. And yeah, so Aletheia should be coming on any minute now. And we are on Becoming Quantum Conscious. I am Bart Sharp, and you are on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network. And we are full of surprises. I think for one of my real highlights coming here is I'll be coming to a place tomorrow called Le Orgue, and that'd be Leorgue by a little town called Mélès. And it's similar to Bryce Canyon in Utah, except the spires are more white and red. However, when you get and touch the rocks, it seems to activate your past lives. It seems to activate a light within you that stimulates the light to come more alive in your body, which is quite a nice comfort. And I'm really looking forward to this event. I've been there once and I brought home two nice sized rocks to hold in my palm. And I'm doing light work with these. And you know, when you think about power stones and things from the earth that have a higher vibration, you know, you don't put them on the shelf. You know, you don't put them away like for a rainy day. No, you meditate with them and you lay on your couch and you hold them in your hand and you ask the light to come in your body and give you kind of a power source, almost like a battery, but it directs the battery power to a certain vibration. And so these rocks are the vibration of a higher light source. So it's kind of a fun thing to be there and be in the org and also learn how to have more light in your body. That's one of the things that I really love about France and other power spots, but particularly France. It seems like when you're in some of these places, light seems to grow in your body. It's just a higher vibration and frequency, basically. And that's because the land has it. And all of the vibrations have it. And it's just very alive there. And it's a great example, and it holds something there for all of us there. And yeah, So that's all fun stuff to see. And I'll be going through more of it. And hopefully Aletheia is going to be here in any minute now as we start to begin the show, or we are in the middle of the show. It's kind of fun. So, what we're going to be talking about today is water consciousness and just the fascination about it uh, and what it can do for the world uh, and all of what that is. That is what we have. And here comes our angel right now. Hey, Aletheia.
Hey, Bart. Hello.
How you
Sorry
doing?
for my lateness.
It's all right.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just dropping in.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. Aletheia Sophia to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. And you are the owner, along with your husband, Pete Wilson of LeConte. And if there's one thing you could talk about this place, it has a lot of water.
It has a lot of water and new springs and pools keep popping up.
Wow.
2 weeks ago, our gardener was just simply turning over the permaculture area, just
Mm.
turning the soil. And he noticed the more he dug down, the wetter it became. And then he took one more shovel and another
Wow.
spring.
Wow.
I know. A little bit worried whether a house is stable enough on so much water. But apparently it is. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. And why and to let you know about some of this is that there's springs and creeks literally going under the hotel itself.
Yes, there is. There's a huge spring underneath the house,
So
sending gallons of water per minute.
yeah. And what has that really taught you about water living here? Because you would really call it kind of a rude awakening or a special awakening, a journey. And you always make lemons out of lemonade wherever you go. And I would think that this has been
Well,
a surprise, challenge.
I would say my journey began early this year with water when a dear friend from Ireland called Sharon said, "Have you heard of Veda Austin, the woman who works with water?" I said, "No, let me tell me about her." And she told me about her freezing technique, how Veda communicates. There's a back and forth language going between the two of them. And of course, I grabbed her book and I picked up the bare bones of this freezing technique and I began to follow her. And then I stopped. I abruptly stopped because I became full of anticipation, not fear. It wasn't fear, but it was a sense of, oh God, this is so big.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be very careful with my questions, with my intention, with any communication I'm giving the water because it's so quick to respond. And I thought, oh.
So I want to make sure I get this correct.
Yes.
This lady would take some water, like in a small dish,
Petri dish.
and say something to the water,
Yes.
and then freeze it.
Yes. And then the water responds with imagery to her question.
Hmm.
One of her first freezes was where she asked a living body of water, which I think is a great question, "What is your earliest memory?" To the water. She took a sample, she froze it. 12 minutes later, because you're just after the first layer of freezing, you're not looking for a block of ice, you're just looking for that first surface layer to turn hard. In the Petri dish was the letters I, A, M. I am.
Wow.
Totally.
And knows our language.
I've done a few experiments with the water, and it is responding in this same sort of biblical way. And I've gone,
Biblical way.
biblical as in huge, colossal, amazing, wondrous. And I'm like, okay, let's reframe this. Let's have a lovely, clear mind before you approach this holy substance again, because to me, it's actually God on earth. This really is the source.
Water. Do you think it's any glass of water? Because your water here is very special. It comes down through this huge mountain, Peak St. Bellamy.
Yeah.
Comes down into these springs, into this big pool of water behind the hotel, goes rushing under the hotel. So we're talking pure source.
Yeah.
And it's riveting when you drink it.
Yeah.
Do you think you get similar sources if you're using tap water?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Although Veda has some techniques to purify that tap water. But you remember, I'm just an apprentice at this stage. She swears that it's the living water, so water that's on the move through a natural environment. A spring, a river, a stream, the ocean. That's the ones, that living aspect. Perhaps that's the consciousness. Yeah. That's the part that's listening. That's the part that responds.
That's the part that's wild.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of like a tree that you buy from the store and you plant it in the ground compared to one in the forest.
Yes.
And you got to retrain the tree that you bought from the store. I don't want to use any names of places, but I buy a lot of those trees. And you have to retrain the tree. You have to energetically have a conversation and have a feeling of what a real tree feels like. Not a real tree, but a forest tree. And you go, this is what the wild feels like. And
yeah,
and you vibrate it to it.
Yes.
And they start not doing typical train tree tricks.
Yes. Yes. Another thing that some of Veda's followers do is they eat the ice afterwards.
Sounds
carnal. If you imagine the water itself has produced something in that surface layer of ice. And then, of course, you ingest it.
Any idea what it's producing?
No, I'm still at apprentice level, but I would be very interested in getting my little dog, Tilly, to have some of that iced over water, because she's not too well at the moment. And that would probably be this is what I feel is good enough to bring to the water at this early apprentice level time.
Wow.
So I'm not going for big guns. I'm just saying, please, can you help heal my beloved Tilly?
But if you live in an urban setting,
yes,
you might be able to get a special container that you like, not like my 5-gallon buckets of plastic buckets. It's a little industrial.
Yes.
Get rainwater as it drips off your house and have your source of play water.
Yes. Yes. Everyone seems to be talking about water this year. It's been entering people's meditations, prayers. People feel inspired to worship, seek out bodies of water as part of their pilgrimage. So it does seem as if this element is even more active at this time now. It's really coming forward.
Hmm.
There's a lot of flooding, there's a lot of drought, or there's a lot of flooding and a lot of drought in our awareness. It's hard to say what's what, but it's there. It's signaling some kind of renaissance, some sort of beckoning us towards it in some way.
Yeah. Now you've lived here in LeConte, this beautiful, you call it a hotel?
No, it's a big home
A
where
big
people
home.
stay.
Okay. Yes, lots of rooms.
It's like a Hogwarts.
Okay, like a Hogwarts. I like that. uh, you've been here for 4 years.
3.5.
How do you think it's changed you?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, just thinking of your relationship with this constant running water going
Yeah.
under that. What does that do to you?
It keeps you on your toes. You have to keep doing your shadow work. You, as on a practical level, someone like me and Pete and Mum, boundaries, strengthening the boundaries, standing for your boundaries, protecting the space. If you don't like what's happening, asking that person to go, because a certain quality comes with them. Oh gosh.
Kind of like honesty.
Yeah, honesty, transparency, allowing the inner volcano to go off, especially if it's going to protect something who doesn't have a volcano. Yeah, lots. I've been given myself so many permissions since being here.
Mm.
And I knew that before moving in. I went, oh God, this house is going to ask for so much of me. And then
Wow.
inwardly, yes, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
And water's a big part of that because it's always saying, you got to keep moving.
Yeah.
We demand of you because that's what energies do. And if you live in an urban setting that is very stuffy and something, you're going to be always fighting maybe complacency or doing the same routine because it's the same surroundings. It just makes you go into habits because that's what the surroundings look like. As opposed to if you have something constantly moving, it's going to change you.
I have been fancying the idea that this could be known as a water temple, like the ones in Bali. That you come here, you don't have to talk to me or Pete. You don't even have to stay over. You come here to cleanse, to pray, and to collect your water.
Yeah.
And it's like a church. A church. Oh, I like
A
that.
church
of water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Indeed.
Yeah. And that I pray that once I've passed over, these ideas are in the psyche of the region, and people keep on coming for
It
their
does.
water.
Here's Julie saying a running stream of water goes forward like life, not backwards.
Yes.
So true.
And if there's an obstacle, what do? You go round it.
Yeah.
Or you rise up and go over it.
Yes. Or just keep being close to it as you move on with your life.
Yeah.
Because that's what water does in a stream with a rock.
Yeah.
It just,
no
not
bother.
a problem.
Yeah.
It always moves.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a great thing. I took a sabbatical to Ireland, thinking I wanted to connect with ancient Atlantean consciousness there because I really feel Ireland. You're Irish. Yes, of course. And I kept going to the menhirs, the dolmens, various other sacred sites, going, "Where's the Atlantean?
Yeah.
I know it's here. I feel it in my bones." Finally, in one of their sacred wells, I asked the water, "Where's the Atlanteans? Where does the Atlantean memory?" And it's like, it's right here.
Mm.
And you're going, what? This is water that dries up, that's always moving, that's always going.
Yeah.
It's like we have all memory here.
Yes. Yes.
It was really quite amazing
Mm.
to just surprising.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just got to ask the right questions about what you want to know about Atlantis.
Yes. One lady referred to the water here as the Holy Order of the Dove. She said, what you have is a liquid library, like that of Qumran and Alexandria. But you don't reach in and pull out a book. You reach in with your glass,
Mm-hmm.
fill it, receive the contents of that book, and then journey. That's why we have lots of like lounges by the water, because we say, pose your question, drink the water, go lie down, and you will you will come to in about an hour's time. Absolute, maybe not able to articulate what you know, but just knowing, oh my goodness, I got my answer.
There it is.
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is. It reminds me of a place not far down the road from here, Notre Dame de Sales,
Yes.
where Mother Mary appeared in something like 1702 to a young boy named Jean,
Yes.
blessed a spring, and the water still feels like a merry vibration.
Yes.
And I was told to me by this little bitty Frenchman named Jean that was like 4'8", small, not very good looking, bald head. His hair looked like a porcupine, they just bristled out. And and he said, you just think about what you would like to change, and you think about something good, and you take a drink.
Mm.
And I was leading a tour,
Mm.
and we were not getting along in this tour group. It's the first and only time this has ever happened.
Yes.
And by day 8 of this tour, the miracles kept abounding because I kept saying, how am I going to bring a higher love to this group? Drink the water.
Yes.
Always a question and a request.
Yeah.
And it all came out to the front, and we ended the tour all really respectful and loving and kind.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Answers don't always come from the intellect.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think of water, it's really in your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it changes that.
Yes.
Now, in your back where this beautiful well is, you once told me that it's a dragon spirit.
Yes. This is what some professional German geomancers reported to us. So these folks were, when I say professional, they were often called in if the country of Germany was thinking about extending a town or a city or building one from scratch. These guys would come in first, do their dowsing, find out where the water is, and advise the shape and the construction of the city. So they came for lunch this year. So I pounced on them. I said, if you have any time, please could you just have a little scan through the property and see if there's anything that jumps out and that needs a correction. And of course, they went straight to the water, and they were very touched by the water, to the point of tears. And they said that this white water, because it was May, so the snow melt was there, it was strong. It was coming out the side of the mountain at full pelt. And the white water was saying to this lady that we are baby dragons. There's an excitement here, there's a newborn here, it's young and it's youthful. But it didn't know where the mother was. And because they were German, they didn't know the region. They asked, do you have any sense where the mother is? I went, oh, yes, that's Mount Sularak. She sat at the top of there because there's often mist there. And there's always gives me an impression that there's a tail coiled around the mountain.
And that's a mountain that's kind of above the Chateau de Montségur.
That's right. It is the Cathar Holy Mountain. As a
Oh,
Cathar, you were quietly asked to pilgrimage to the top once in your lifetime, if you were a believer.
hmm.
So I've often had a great feeling of like, whoa, there's something powerful up there. Maybe it's a dragon.
Mm.
So when I said that, they all, there with the little dowsing rods, they all went, yes, that's it. That's your mother.
Here we're going.
And she was telling the water, you're not orphans, you're not orphans. And of course, this place, this house, once housed children. It wasn't an orphanage, but it did look after kids for 3 months of the year, whilst their parents worked hard in the mill.
Wow.
And I went, that's interesting, that word orphan, because the kids may have thought when they first arrived that they're orphans. They're not going home to mum and dad, but they did every time.
Yes.
So that really got me going. That touched my heart. Now I'm off and running and crying with these baby dragons, with this sense of reunion. Mama knows exactly where you are. She's not far. And you are being born into this world now. Loads of you, boys and girls, little male and female baby dragons. So I just loved that story.
That is, and it comes along with some of the Melusine type of legends, because they were some say part mermaid, but others say part dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that is the spirit. If you don't know, can you give a definition of a Melusine?
No, I'm again apprentice. I'm still apprenticing this water topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In short, because I brought it up, I'm the troublemaker here. A Melusine is a spirit or a dragon that can become a female. And of course, there's legends and stories that's very much in this area. In short.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just go back to something really practical. Because not everybody gets to live at LeConte or in a wild place. And it's kind of like the wild places, or I think Gaia's, I don't want to say favorite places, but they hold a vestige of wild earth that's so close to nature. But for those like me living in Austin, Texas, with tap water, can we give any suggestions how people can start to bring wildness of water and the high-poweredness of water and into their lives?
Yes, I have been told that if you can get your water to spiral, you will turn it from tap water to living water. So that can be done in a funnel. That can be done by something you create, which makes it spiral. But that motion, that spiraling motion, is the game changer, the frequency changer, and is totally instantly available to everyone if you can make a spiral.
Yes, you certainly can. And you can take like 2 bottles and a connector between the two. You fill one bottle up, or you had the fill bottle at the bottom, and you turn it like that, and you give it a little to start it, and it starts to go down.
Wow.
It's a very effective technique.
Yeah.
An American Indian, not American Indian, but an indigenous tribe, a friend of mine who lived in a lot of indigenous tribal communities, was telling me what impressed him was they would have a time where they would thank all the water that they drink in their life.
Mm. Mm.
And just to hold that,
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a prayer that you should do.
Hmm.
This is something internal
Yes.
that you
Yes.
make happen.
Yes. The water at the back of the house is so cold. It bites. It hurts to get in.
It
But what
does.
I've done now is I've said to myself, every time you get in, you are telling another baby dragon, he or she is not an orphan. The warmth of your own body is sending a signal to that fresh newborn that mama is not far away. Now that gets me in with no fuss, no squeal, and no complaint.
Oh,
Yeah, because it's just tapping into that mother energy within.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting in for those babies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
are.
now I do it.
Yeah, you are the mom. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's running through so much source here,
Mm.
and here you are in a pool where it lands almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, any ideas of what you think you would like to start experimenting with the water with the freezing?
Not so much the freezing yet. Next week, I'm going to do a water fast. And that's I've earmarked that time as right, okay, this is my private homage, just me and you, me and the water. And obviously, when you do water fasting, you enter altered states very quickly because there's nothing to do but drink water, journal, and sleep because that's about all the energy you've got.
Wow.
And you just slip into these altered states constantly, night and day. So 3 days, water fast. And that will be my time where I ask this body of water, we know what you want from Veda Austin because she's out there doing it magnificently, if I may say.
Yes.
What do you want of me?
Hmm.
What's this unique relationship we could start having? And I do feel that these 3-day water fasts might be something that folk come here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're more than happy to just bed down and go, right, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to Rennes Chateau. I'm not going to Mount Bucharest. I'm going to stay right here in LeConte, drink copious amounts of water, no food, have a good old clean out, and see what the consciousness of the water is asking of me.
And maybe a prayer would be, and I like questions with prayers. What does the water? What can the water in my body receive from the wildness of this water?
Yes.
And we're making this. You got a conscious water body here.
Yeah.
And it can activate in different ways.
Yeah.
Now, somebody that's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, Penny Loftus, you know
Love
her.
Penny.
We love Penny. She's always inventing new things.
She's fabulous.
And she was saying, when she would have a pain in her body, she would say, what color of water can be generated in my body that could resolve this?
Oh, very good.
And she would concentrate on that water. And even to a place, let's just say that, hi, Julie, you have to be careful with, too, as people have overdosed on water.
Oh, wow.
Well, I would say keep asking your body
Yeah.
about what that is.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, I did say copious amounts of water, didn't I? Edit.
Well, maybe
edit.
that's right for you because you are holding so much water.
Yeah.
And somebody that isn't used to processing that much, really just needs to keep asking their body, and you could even do it just by simple muscle testing.
Yeah.
How many glasses of water do I need to drink in these next 4 hours?
Mm.
And just respect that and keep asking those type of questions.
Yeah.
That would be a good way for you to have a body-water relationship, so to speak.
Mm.
But going back to this exploration, we're just wondering about different lands where the people are in distress
Mm. Mm.
and they're struggling
Mm.
and there's pain there, there's anger there. And we were just asking that question, well, what type of water, color of water do these people need?
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, it's
Yeah.
funny because I was working with a woman in the Middle East, and it was like a blue Mediterranean water,
Wow.
and it was peaceful and it
Yes.
was calm, and
Yeah.
she was felt like she had been pushed around all of her life by really angry men,
Mm. Mm.
and she really needed that calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all progressing because I think the water is one of those things that can help us consciously.
Yes. Yes.
It's our friend.
Yes. I think there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. We've been
Indeed.
going around going, "Meh, water, I drink this." Um, I really am posing the question in all seriousness now. What if this is God?
Yeah. Well, how would you treat God if
Yes.
God was in a glass in front of you?
Yes. Yes.
How would you do it?
Sip carefully and slowly and reverentially, and gratitude,
Hmm.
gratitude, gratitude.
Yes.
I wouldn't spill a drop.
Hmm.
Mm.
And it would all be absorbed because your body is going, this is really fun. This is
Yes.
not an industrial drinking method.
No. Yeah.
This is inviting it all in.
Mm. Mm.
And maybe you could just take, I just wonder how that would help industrial water, tap water, if it
Mm.
was regarded that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this is one of the big things about water. It responds to our consciousness instantly. What's his name? Dr. Emoto?
Yes.
Put the word love under your glass of water. Beautiful crystalline pattern. Put the word hate. Horrible, gnarly shapes. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all there for us. And
Mm.
we really have to empower ourselves by acknowledging that we are the instigators.
Yeah.
We are not helpless.
Mm.
We make choices every day to create consciousness. And
Mm.
just as we drink it down, then we pee it out,
Mm.
goes into a toilet or goes out onto the grass,
Yeah.
and it's shared someplace else.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Woo! And so, why don't you think about a message that you would like to give? Because you're doing so many things, and maybe I would ask you first, just like, are there any projects coming up that you're putting out that people can join in and get to know you, whether that be by the internet or workshops? And of course, you could go to the Kant near Montsegur and check in. It'll be LESCONTES. What's the website again?
.eu
.eu.
for Europe. As it's coming up for autumn and winter, what I tend to do is I love somatic movement.
Hmm.
I love exploring free movement very slowly, uh, with the eyes closed, deep, deep interior experience. So I will be doing a lot of that online. I often do like 21 days. So look out for that. the more we get into autumn and the winter months. And I often do lots over the Christmas period, especially in between Christmas and New Year. It's a very, very potent time.
Yes. And here you are at Lacan, and it's kind of like a down season.
Yeah.
How does that change you that you're around snow and crystallized ice and water and
That's wonderful.
mm,
Peace, stillness, no one here, wild nature just over your shoulder, walking the goats, log fires when you come in. It's dark by 4 o'clock. You can even find yourself in bed at 5, knowing that you've got a good 12 to 14 hours before you wake up again.
wow.
It's proper hibernation. It's like a bear. You hibernate. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's little electricity out here. Only one internet system in one room
Yeah,
in the entire community.
that's right. When you switch open your Wi-Fi options, if you're lucky, you've got one.
Ah,
You know, like when you go to the city,
yeah.
you flick open your Wi-Fi and you've got about 50 options. No, you might find one here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really fun. And, if you become that, kind of a singular energy is what that really says. But in that singular energy, you kind of get to know yourself. You get to know an internal power inside of you. And to me, that's a real opportunity for service because you're in a clear spot.
Yeah.
And I think it has, if you're conscious of that, it has more power than confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
10 times more powerful or 100 times more powerful. Yeah. So, one final question.
Yes.
What would you like to tell an advice for people? Inspiration, because you are a master inspirer, master storyteller, communicator, author of over a dozen books. About right?
10.
10? Oh, okay. It looked like there was a lot on your shelf.
Oh yeah, I like to sell other
Yes.
people's books.
Yeah, you're creating lots of stuff, and it's all out there with Aletheia Sophia out there. You can go to AnayaSophia.com and check out her work, and that'd be ANIYA. So you think about the advice and inspiration I'd like to share while I tell everybody. Next week, we will have Krishna Rose, author of Woman in Red. That'll be really fun as we explore the ancient life of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. Really amazing scholar. My name is Bart Sharp, and this is Becoming Quantum Conscious. And you are on the United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network at 107.7 and 105.3 out of New Orleans on Roku, X, YouTube, Facebook, and the UPRN website. So, what would you like to share?
Tapping into my somatic self, I would say, folks, at this stage of our development and history and moment on this beautiful earth, we would be very wise to know how to comfort ourselves. Self-comforting. And I don't mean reaching for the bottle or anything of that ilk. I'm talking deep, rich, honest comfort in a way that our nervous system and brain would go. So that could be something like this: holding, rubbing, rocking back and forth, not like a strange person, gently forward and back slowly, spiraling, dancing, stroking, cat.
Mm.
We have to know what it is that comforts ourselves. And I think for me, it really is just the somatic movement. Beautiful music, no pressure whatsoever to dance, to perform, to do anything, and just allow pure movement to come. That even takes you by surprise.
Mm.
That's my self-comfort.
Embodiment,
Yes.
not escape.
No. In and down.
Indeed. All
Yes.
right. Well, we hope to see y'all next week. And this is Bart Sharp, and this is Aletheia Sophia. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank
and
you.
We'll see y'all next week. Becoming Quantum Conscious.